She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday evening show here on the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here amongst you all who are coming in still as I speak. The crowd is gathering, Don. The crowd is gathering, and by Don, I mean my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard. Welcome, brother.
That would be us, and well, the campfire usually brings them in, so...
It does.
My campfire brings all the peeps to
Just
the
throw some brats on the grill and people start showing up.
Hey, they're here. Hey.
We gotta. It's like meat potpourri, Don. Little meat potpourri, and people start showing up.
A little sage, a little black pepper.
That's how it rolls. That's how we roll around here. Fat and happy. That's it.
Oh.
That defines the portal right there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys are doing great. And Julia says, send your stories to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Thank you, Julia. And hello, Gemini. Good to see you. Saying hi. And
Got Duke and Renee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duke and Renee and
Beth first.
Beth. Chris Guy's got in here.
Mm-hmm.
Who? Josh Jacobs. He's been waiting all day for this.
Yeah.
Good. To be first.
To be first.
Oh, man. He tried hard, too, man.
Well, you know, I've been trying for a long time, and I haven't been first in a long time.
I know, and you're sitting right next to me. You know exactly when I'm launching. I don't know how you missed that, but Renee's got the ninja reflexes cooking out there. I don't know what's going on there.
There
but
you go.
Renee can post like nobody's business. But hope you guys are all ready because it's time for the portal to begin. Hang on, everybody. We're going in. And Whack Job Wednesday.
Apparently, it was a rough day for Elaine today.
Oh, sorry, Elaine. Well, I hope it's going to get better now.
I don't know how we're going to make it better.
I don't know how much we can make it worse. I mean,
That's true.
you know,
you got a point there.
if it
Doesn't
already
get any lower than this.
yeah, welcome to the Lower Expectations tour of the Paranormal Portal. If you don't expect much, you're definitely not going to get disappointed. So, no, we have a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun with you guys. Of course, you guys are family, and welcome to the family. And most families, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, are dysfunctional. So
You're in the perfect spot.
You'll fit right in here. If you're loopy and crazy and all cracked and twisted, then you're right where you belong, because this is the portal, home of all that stuff. So, Don, how are you, first of all?
Doing good. It seems to be a long day, but it's coming to a close soon, right after this, and so I'm going to expend all of my energy right here.
Right here and now, ladies and gentlemen, Don is firing up the afterburners, and we're just going to see. Yeah, well, there they went. That was the full tank right there, ladies and gentlemen. He went full Longbeard on us. It's like Rip Van Winkle over here. Jeez. Oh, sadly enough, that happens sometimes on the show to people on the phone queue. Eventually, end up with a snoring person here and there, but it's good. It's good fun.
It happens, I guess.
It does happen, and it is a good time. But I know Miss Julia sent us something that she was pretty excited about. So I want to get that. I don't even know who the hell that was. Somebody called me. I don't even know who it is. Just look. Oh, screw those guys. Screw those guys.
Screw you guys.
I don't have time for that. All right. So, but let me see if I can pull that up here. And you're going to have to do it with me, ladies and gentlemen, because I only have one speed, and it's
portal speed.
It's rated portal speed, yeah.
Which is nowhere near ludicrous speed.
Yeah, no. I got 2 of them. Why did I get 2 of them? I don't know. Which one did you want, Julia? I don't know. I guess we can play them both and just see what we end up with here. Oh, come on, really?
Yeah, it does that to me all the time.
Shoot, I got them downloaded here before. Okay, this is 808 and 90. Okay, here we go. All right, let me do this. Holy Jesus, that's a little loud, but I don't have it on screen yet. But let me do this.
So we had quite the lightning storm last night,
right?
And so I think this is videos.
This is video Julia took of the lightning storm.
It's crazy. My light flickered on and off 5 times last night.
Oh, did you almost lose power?
Yeah.
Oof.
Apparently, I did lose internet.
Oh. Well, let's see what Julia captured here, ladies and gentlemen. So stand by, and we're going big screen. We're going all cinematic here. Here we go. There's a black screen. And there it goes. Boom, baby.
That was a nice one.
That was a pretty pristine arc. There comes the thunder. Oh, I love thunder. I love me some thunderstorms. Boom, there it is again. And once more time. And again. I got it cued exactly right.
You're good there.
Look at that. That's beautiful. And this is premiering right here. This is Julia the Storm Watcher, Black Tree. Not only is she a moderator extraordinaire, but she's willing to brave the elements to bring you the weather as it occurs.
I was driving in that last night. Like, am I going to get struck?
That's real pretty, though.
It is. It's great.
That's like a totally across the sky arc. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it lights everything up. You can see the treetops and everything.
Okay, so let me see what the other one is. There's 2 of them that I got. So let me see if I can find the other one here. That was... Okay, so I think 90 is the next one. Let's see what this one is. All right, let me pull it up. Oh. Okay, let me, there we go. I'm going to see what this one is, and you're going to see it with me. Hopefully there's no cussing. I don't know if Julia cusses during storms. Julia, are you a storm cusser? Just if it happens, ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. I'm just kidding.
No,
Julia didn't, I'm sure. I'm just being silly. All right, so here we go. Let's find out what happened on this video. That's a storm. I'd recognize that sound anywhere. Ooh. No, that was pretty.
Those are great. You know, I stand outside all the time trying to get pictures of things like that. And I always just end up usually, striking out.
We're talking about storms down there? Where are we going with this?
Lightning strike out.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's where I was going too, Don. But it's funny, we're both going the same direction on that one. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, some real live storm footage of last night. You had a big boomer roll through. It was really a quick storm, though, wasn't it?
No, maybe it was for you, but I was watching it. I was watching it before I left work last night, and all the way home, and all the way, to the point that I got out of bed and decided to just sit and watch it.
Wow.
So yeah, it was quite long last night. And then we got the wind was so bad at my place last night. There were branches blowing off the trees and hitting the tin roof, and that was crazy.
Ouch. Well, I guess you made it. That's good. Yeah. That's a good part. And I made it. We made it here.
Made it.
But yeah, it was apparently a really pretty storm. I don't have a lot of windows in this house, and the ones I do have, like one of them opens, get a nice view of the neighbor's siding. The other one is the backyard, and the front is, the street. So I don't have any wide open spaces to really appreciate a good thunderstorm.
Right.
But I used to love to watch thunderstorms all the time. It was one of my favorite things in the summer.
Definitely.
And I miss them because up here there aren't a lot of thunderstorms.
No. Well, yeah, we have a very specific season up here, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's there's a thunderstorm for a week, and then it's usually the summers are real dry and hot. Mm-hmm. But this summer has been very moist and a lot of precipitation rolling through. So not a lot of threat of fires, which I really enjoy because
actually, got a call from somebody yesterday. Well, it must have been this morning. When it rolled through their area, where's he at? He is at I forget. But anyhow, the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, has a fire crew that goes out. And apparently they've been very busy in this particular area of Washington just in the last 2 days with lightning strikes and things like that. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's no question the lightning strikes can start some of those off, but at least it's not as bone dry as it normally is during the season.
Yeah,
so
it'd go up like a tender.
Right. Yeah, it's like a matchstick.
Was that a fire? No, it was a flash.
Yeah, I know. It was a firework more than anything. It's like poof, your land is just suddenly black.
Now the work begins.
Yeah, exactly. So that's thank you, Julia, for sending that in. It's not necessarily paranormal, but it is para-pretty. I don't even know if that's a word.
Well, it is now.
It is now, ladies and gentlemen.
It's part of the paranormal lore.
It's part of our vocabulary here.
Paralore.
Paralore.
Why not?
Yeah.
Para-pretty, paralore.
So, yeah, it was some really good captures, especially that cross the screen bolt.
That was a good one.
Good evening, the Weird Desk US. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. What's going on at the Weird Desks in other countries? That's what I'm wondering, too. Is this a worldwide Weird Desk phenomena? But welcome to the show. Good to see you. Rivers came in. Cha-Cha's here.
Yeah, your friend Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha-Cha. All right. And Gemini, Duke, Debra's here.
Deb's here, yeah.
Hello and thank you.
Paisley, Jim.
Paisley, Jim. Paisley, Jim.
Paisley and Jim.
Oh, Jim's here. Hey, Jim,
Yeah,
we were
Jim's
just
here.
talking about you.
We actually were.
When we were doing the podcast just a few moments ago, we were recording a podcast prior to going live. And you were brought up a whole bunch, sir.
Brought up, yes.
We were just talking all about you. Was your ears ringing?
Mine are always ringing.
We were saying good things about you, just for the record.
Hi, Teresa. Haven't seen you in a while. DH just popped in. Pat Studio.
Oh, my screen didn't refresh. Here we go. Oh, okay. Pat Studio, good to see you. Teresa De La Vega, about time you showed up. Been waiting for you. Aloha to you, my lady.
Duck Sauce is here. Elaine. Isaac.
Isaac is here.
Got Lewis, of course. Noli 420. Let's see. Who else have I not said yet? Rivers, Paisley, Weird Desk US. Well, there you go. That's who I see.
That's who we're seeing. If we're not seeing you, just let us know.
Because you ain't talking.
Noli 420. Is that what time it is?
God. You know, I saw this meme the other day that says, let's make 420 International Pot Day or something like that.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. Do you remember anything about history? Because there was this guy named Hitler born on 420. Yeah, let's make his day a holiday.
Oh, is that his
great
birthday?
idea.
I never knew that.
Idea. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like 1889, I think it was.
1889.
Why do I know this stuff?
I don't know.
I don't either.
That's interesting. But yeah, that's definitely not the day you want to celebrate.
No.
I guess kind of doing the Roman approach or the Christian approach, because they kind of steamrolled a whole bunch of other pagan holidays, and they said, well, now it means this.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, just co-opt it.
So just co-opt it. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. It's been done before.
Hey, Ian, how are you?
Oh, Ian, good to see you, brother. Oh, Ian's been showing up lately. He's been representing.
Right on.
It's great to see you, though. Again, that's wonderful. That's always good to see, some of our oldest friends come back.
Absolutely.
We've missed you, Ian, and I hope Claire's doing wonderful.
Yep, absolutely.
Give her our love. 420 is police call sign for a marijuana infraction. Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Oh,
I don't know. I'll take his word for that.
Yeah, Duke knows. He's got his finger on the pulse, I guess. His pulse on his finger, too. I don't know.
Yeah, you got pulse in your finger.
All right, so we're going to talk about all kinds of paranormal stuff tonight, because that's what we do, along with all kinds of other stupidity, which we do also.
We do rather well.
And it may or may not be in that order. I can't say which is coming first, ladies and gentlemen. Just stay tuned, because the plot always thickens here on the portal. But let's see. What do I got? What do I got, Don?
You got... I don't know. You said you had something you wanted to read. Missouri Family something?
You're just going to call me out like that,
Well,
huh?
yeah, why not?
All right, just going to put me on the front street just like that, huh?
Well, I got to make money somehow.
Oh, you're a dick. You're a dick.
I don't have anybody else to put on
You
front
might
street.
lose mic privileges. I'm just saying, that was a dick thing to say. I ain't working for you, Don.
I ain't working for you like you.
I ain't
We love
doing
you,
that.
Brent.
I hope so. The abuse I take. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So Missouri family claims seeing Bigfoot, and this is coming from CryptozoologyNews.com. They're talking about a woman in Missouri says she and her family have had a few encounters with gorilla-like creatures.
Really?
Wow. The anonymous woman out of Crawford County told the BFRO that the sighting began back in 1991, and they're still ongoing. First time I saw it, I was driving home and coming around a curve when I noticed the eye shine. I think I might have read this, Don. This sounds kind of familiar to me.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It happens.
Wouldn't surprise me either. But they saw Bigfoots, and I'm going to leave it there because I've already talked about it. Yeah, I did read this. She said it's talking to the dogs like it was trying to calm them down.
Really?
That's right. I read this one. Yeah.
Why do I always miss the good ones?
I don't know. Let's see what this one is. Let's go to the next one. And this one is a 1960s report. Describes a UFO and humanoid sighting. And those are always cool. Could have brought this one up on the podcast, actually, Don. A man says he and his brother saw a UFO with two humanoids piloting it. Not piling, piloting. I missed a whole consonant on that one. I missed a whole syllable, Don, all by myself. The report, which consists of just a short paragraph, claims two brothers were exploring an empty house in Edgewater, Florida, during the 60s when they noticed a large saucer at about 150 feet away from them. The sighting reportedly took place in the afternoon. It was huge, about 400 feet across. Wow, that is huge.
Wow.
The man wrote on a MUFON report, it was silver gray and silent. It had no markings. The report adds that they were able to see two humanoids through some windows on the craft, and there wasn't any further detail on the description of these alleged beings. Located in Volusia County, Edgewater has a population of 21,000 people. How do you like that, Don?
Florida man.
Well, what does that mean for you?
I don't know really.
I don't know.
No
clue. But two people driving a 400-foot craft, that must require a special license.
Yeah, no doubt. Like a Class A or something. You got a license to
take the Class ET license.
ET license.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Well, that kind of leads into this one here. Police capture alien. Officers say they have an ET in custody after UFO sighting.
Ooh, in custody.
In custody, it says.
Wow.
Officers tweeted the revelation after social media became awash with talk of a mysterious, glowing, possibly extraterrestrial object falling to Earth. Some had even reported the sighting to the police, with officers in West Australia writing, one in custody after recent suspected UFO landing in Headland. Let's see here. Danielle Matama was traveling from... Oh, our Australian friends are going to kill me.
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
All right. So was traveling near Karath in Pilbara region of the state when she witnessed it. She said, originally we thought it was a shooting star, but it had blue and green colors. And then we thought it may be fireworks, but the path didn't look like fireworks because it was going horizontally.
Ooh.
So we came home and saw online that other people had seen or heard things as well, and now we're super curious about what it was. One witness said they saw the object glowing purple and green before it crashed near Port Hedland.
Ooh.
Fire was seen near the crash, fueling speculations of a UFO or space debris. I'm sorry, bear with me a second.
Okay.
I got to turn this thing. Come on.
Turn it to mute.
Turn it to mute. All right. Unfortunately, those hunting for confirmation of alien life, the tweet by South Headland police had its tongue firmly in cheek. Oh. The comment came with the clearly mocked-up cartoon police shot of an alien in custody from the Men in Black movie with the hashtags "No Little Green Men This Time" and hashtag "Not a Cover-Up Promise." The officer said the only fireball that evening was a burning car near town.
Okay.
Ah, dang it. Dang it.
It was sounding so good, too.
It was so good.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Marge. Now, Don, there's a funny thing that seems to happen. And the thing that seems to happen is the more money somebody has, the more important they think their opinion is on things, which I find absolutely hilarious and ridiculous because if the stupidity that goes on with these same people. The person in question, of course, is Sir Richard Branson, who suddenly has become absolute official on the existence of UFOs. He's apparently pretty in love with his own opinion, and he says the article is coming from the singularfortean.com. And it's billionaire Richard Branson finds the existence of UFOs to be extremely unlikely, despite recent evidence. Okay, let's all take a moment and reflect on the gentle musings of Sir Richard Branson and his opinion.
Sir.
Opinions are like what, Don? Oh, anyway, he says that they're unlikely. So this guy's a dick. That's all I can think.
Gemini.
What?
No virgins on that airline.
Well, there you have it. But let's hear what it says. Billionaire entrepreneur Richard Branson remains skeptical in the face of mounting UFO reports released by government and military personnel, according to an interview published July 16th by The Hollywood Reporter. Sadly, when you look closely, you'll find that there's another explanation for all of them, in the same way that in the Bermuda Triangle there's another explanation for all the mysteries there, Branson said. What a douche. There's no question that there are millions of other civilizations out there, but none of them are within reach of Earth, and therefore my instinct is extremely unlikely. Wow. Wow. Do you suppose he stands around and talks in the mirror? Just so in love with his own opinion? The 68-year-old billionaire's disbelief is at least partly due to the secrecy surrounding the subject. I can't understand why these UFO discussions are always behind closed doors and done in secrecy. It just creates even more suspicion. If people had really discovered a UFO, you can't keep things like that secret. In this day and age, it would be everywhere. And so I don't think there's any credible sightings yet. It would be wonderful if it were true, he said. That's my Richard Branson. I should probably give it some more English than that, but it should probably be more true.
That's Cockney.
Yeah, that's not too far from my opinion of him. My opinion is close to that, Don. That's not too far away from what I think of the guy. So Branson's statements are controversial, but not unexpected from someone who has only a surface understanding of the field, according to investigator Tobias Weiland. I absolutely understand his skepticism. I really do, Weiland said, but I think most people who've never spoken to witnesses or otherwise investigated the UFO phenomena, never mind actually seeing one for themselves, can be forgiven for repeating what mainstream sources have been telling them their whole lives, at least to a certain point. Maybe Mr. Branson hasn't checked the news lately, but UFOs are absolutely everywhere these days, he continued, and those who have actually studied the history of the phenomena would understand that that's nothing new either. The cat's been out of the bag since at least 1947.
You think?
For anyone paying attention. What do you mean I'm not paying attention? I pay all kinds of things. I can pay attention too.
Duck Sauce says perhaps his pineal gland is too close to his root chakra.
I like to reset his root chakra with my knee. That's just what a douchebag. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't usually get so, but it's like, my opinion is so important, everybody should hear it. Like, freaking hell. Yeah, I've seen one, so I kind of take it personally because I've seen it, and I know I wasn't drunk or on drugs or anything, or I was just out there going, whoa. And then to have some, douchey guy come up and go, they just don't exist, of course. It's like, oh, you dick. So sorry about that to any of the little ones out there. So, but here's to you, Mr. Branson. You're number one. Guess which finger I'm holding up. That's all I got to say. So that's Mr. Branson's ideas. And I'm sure he'd be happy to share more of his thoughts on pretty much anything.
I bet you we could get an interview with him now.
I might not be on his top interview list any longer, but at this point, I really don't care, because to just outright dismiss something just because it doesn't fit in your pocket or whatever, it's like, whatever.
U.S. desk. Weird desk U.S. Like this one.
Yeah.
The probing finger.
Close to that one. Bend over and cough finger. Yeah. Yeah, that might be close. It's near that one. That's all I'm going to say out loud. So, I don't begrudge the guy his, success or his, what he's achieved. He's known to get up in balloons and try to go across the world and failing miserably, but that's a whole other issue. Yeah, I guess he could use a UFO. Maybe he'd make it, but
Maybe he could.
But you can't blame him for continuing to try. But no, I just think it's that arrogance. It's like, well, just to make it sound so ridiculous. Well, if he did any homework at all, if he talked to any of those pilots, if he's talked to eyewitnesses, like the Mr. Whalen says, then you're right. He would maybe have at least an informed opinion, but he's been spoon-fed the same crap he's spewing. So whatever. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah.
Oh, boy.
What do you think of that, Don?
I think that's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
It really brings the question of, are they working to discredit?
Right.
Are there people who have money that, can, manipulate things like
the narrative?
That? Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
here's the thing, and I don't know if I'm at liberty to say this or not, but it was posted on his Facebook page, so I don't feel too out of bounds by saying this.
Right.
But a gentleman who's half owner of the Roswell Museum said that they were offered a large sum of money by a business associate of Branson to invest in the museum, but they'd have to revamp it and change a lot of the displays and the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And they just said nope. So he was it's very interesting because he was putting himself in the position to try to control that narrative. And why is that? What is his vested interest in that?
I wonder because, we talk about, Elon Musk, he's SpaceX and,
Right.
he's putting all those things up there and he's talking about going to Mars, before 2030.
Okay.
And actually colonizing. And it's really interesting how, you've got one billionaire, multi-billionaire, and another multi-billionaire on two different spectrums of the idea or the thought or the
Right.
phenomena. And so I wonder, it always brings that question to mind, are they there to create this disharmony within the community,
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Right. I don't know. But it's interesting that he tried to invest in the Roswell Museum, which contains a lot of the narrative of what happened in 1947. And one of the stipulations was that they'd have to revamp the building and change a lot of the displays.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, nope. So my hat is off to those people for denying that.
Do it. Yeah, definitely.
Because what it demonstrates to me is they're trying to control the narrative.
Yeah.
They're trying to control the information that is available. And why? Well, they must want to keep it quiet for some reason. So what does Mr. Branson really know?
I wonder if it has anything to do with why did my mind just go blank?
Well, Don, this is a paranormal show, and
That's not paranormal. That's pretty common for my brain.
But with your brain is a little paranormal.
No, that's true.
But
it's abnormal. Thank you.
sure, did you really had something to say and you just lost it?
I just lost it.
Don's being compromised by the aliens, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They probed too deeply into that one.
That's not something many would share openly, Don. But God bless you for your bravery. So,
Oh man, okay.
okay. What? This one's interesting. Maybe this one's interesting. I want to see what it is.
Ooh.
I'm not. NUFORC.
New Force.
New Force.
New Force. They're from Davenport, Washington.
Okay. UFO data compiled in honor of World UFO Day. So, this is also from the Singular Fortean. And it says the National UFO Reporting Center's New Force UFO data was recently compiled and published by website Satellite Internet in honor of World UFO Day, which falls on July 2nd. So if you weren't aware of it, July 2nd was World UFO Day. I personally don't know that I was. Was I? Don, did we talk about World UFO Day?
No, I do not believe.
I don't think we did either. So I guess I'm not, well, I am now currently aware of it, but we use data from the National UFO Reporting Center's online database to get the number of UFO sightings in each state, and we then compared each state's total number of sightings to U.S. Census data to find which states have the most UFO sightings per capita, explained Kristen Cook, the article's author. According to the data, the 5 states with the highest number of sightings were number 1, Washington, number 2, Montana, number 3, Vermont, number 4, Alaska, and number 5 was Maine. While the 5 with the fewest sightings were number 1, Texas, number 2, Louisiana, number 3, Georgia, number 4, Mississippi, and number 5, Alabama.
Why are they all in that one area?
Right. It's just like
they're avoiding
the
south.
Central South.
Yeah, Central South,
of the North American continent, apparently. But Wisconsin, out of which the Singular Fortean Society is based, ranked 23rd overall for frequency of UFO sightings. Now, the interesting thing is mine, of course, was up in North Idaho,
right,
which is right smack dab between number 1 and number 2 of the sightings.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, Washington and Montana, ladies and gentlemen. So we are literally right in between both of those states. It's unclear exactly why so many UFO reports are reported in July, although misidentified fireworks, warmer weather leading to more outdoor activities, and celebratory firework displays drawing people's attention skyward are all possibilities. Why the current data indicates larger number sightings on the northern states is similarly unclear, although it could indicate that citizens of the southern states are simply less likely to report a UFO sighting. Interesting. But it is interesting that we are right between Washington and Montana, number 1 and number 2, and so I guess northern Idaho could be like 1.5.
It's more like 7-Eleven on the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, hey, let's stop here.
Well,
Hey, see that guy standing over there looking at us through the infrared goggles? Let's go talk to him.
Hey, what's that goober doing? Think he's lost? No. I was just up there minding my own business looking at stars.
I found this interesting thing.
Oh, well, by all means, share.
It's a CIA released document.
Ooh.
And it's from July 14th, 1983.
Okay.
And on this document, it says, an application has been filed in court here demanding that the Air Force release the remains of the extraterrestrial being or beings it is alleged to be holding in secret custody, Pentagon officials said today. They said the petition was asking for a writ of habeas corpus had been served on the Air Force Secretary Vernon Orr, who now has 60 days to respond. It was filed in federal district court by Larry Brandt of Alexandria, Virginia, representing a group called Citizens Against UFOs. Okay. Unidentified flying objects, secrecy. Oh, Citizens Against UFO secrecy. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Bryant, who also named the Pentagon, the Army, and the Attorney General, the CIA, and other national security agencies and officials, implied that some of the aliens were released. Some of the aliens whose release he seeks may still be alive, saying that they're being subjected to unwarranted deprivations of their rights to travel. So Fourth Amendment. He did not say where the extraterrestrials or their remains are being held, but Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio is frequently cited as UFO groups as the prime suspect. Asked to comment on the position to an official said the Air Force has stopped investigating UFO matters in 1969 when it issued its comprehensive Blue Book on the subject. So Operation Blue Book reference. Woohoo!
Ooh.
So there you go. So this was actually written by Reuters based on that CIA dump.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So interesting.
Yep, it is interesting. There's all kinds of interesting going on. Well, there's something new coming out of Nessie.
Uh-oh.
Nessie lore.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I don't know how new. It's July 24th, so it's like today. It's today new.
Wow.
So this is really new. And again, this is the SingularFortean.com is reporting a mysterious sonar return in Loch Ness. Could be Nessie, says boat skipper. There's two. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There's a picture, but I don't think it really does anything.
It's a depth finder, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a sonar return. Okay, boat skipper Mike Bell captured a mysterious sonar return on June 27th while piloting a group of tourists around Loch Ness, according to the Scottish Sun. One of the tourists drew Bell's attention to the object just after he'd finished telling them the story of Loch Ness and Urquhart Castle. Urquhart? That's a tough one. Urquhart.
That's a tough one.
Urquhart. All right. My palate doesn't do it, so that's as close as I can come. But Bell said that he circled back to the same spot to take another reading, but the object had vanished, making it unlikely to be a stationary, inanimate object. The image taken by Bell on his sonar screen shows a fish, top of the screen, the bottom of the loch, bottom of the screen, and a mysterious object about 115 feet below the surface, which is in the middle of the screen. And I'd show you, ladies and gentlemen, but it's literally just like these, little blip. They're just like, looks like Tetris on a real small scale. Mm-hmm. So it's really unremarkable. But, it looks like it's pretty sizable. Bell estimated the length of the object was about 10.25 feet. Well, I don't think that would be Nessie. That's just a really big fish, I think.
It's a big sturgeon, yeah.
Yeah. I would like to think that this is our creature, Nessie, a 24-year-old said, and it's my first year being a skipper of the boat. In 5 months, I've never seen it nor had something that big on the sonar. My dad is the more experienced skipper who's been doing this for a few years and has said he's never seen it that big on the sonar. It's my first sighting of Nessie, and I think my dad is a wee bit jealous as he has never seen it at all. The standard size on the sonar is usually a sharp prick, suggesting a small fish. The large line is about 35 meters in the water, was about 10.25 feet. He continued, an object of that size, I would think, is way too big for the normal species in the loch. It must have been about 5 or 6 minutes we spent trying to pick up this creature again. But not everyone is convinced that the object represents a single organism. Good point. The fragmented nature of the sonar return would appear to indicate many smaller objects rather than one big one, investigator Tobias Weiland said. I can't help but wonder if what he really caught was just a school of fish swimming in the right formation. Mm-hmm. Good point. Yeah, very good point. Bell's sighting came less than 3 weeks after a video was released of an object protruding from the water in Urquhart Bay, and this marks the 8th such report of Nessie so far in 2019.
Wow.
So maybe there's just a lot more people that are paying attention to this stuff, right? So
yeah,
But it is, it's a big, 10 feet is a big object, but it certainly doesn't hearken to the sea monster size of Nessie that I'm thinking. I'm thinking like 20 feet, or better,
yeah, definitely that. So yeah, it's not. I don't think that's very. No, I'm not going to say credible. It is. It is
credible, but it's just
right. It's just not.
The conclusions.
I don't think it points at Nessie necessarily. Hey, can you get me off main screen? That'd be great.
I like it when you're on main screen, Don. It's about time you get on screen and hog the show.
Well, okay, so let me read this.
Put it back on Don Vision.
No, don't do that.
Let's go back to Beard
what
Vision.
Is it with you? Oh, gosh. I'm too sexy for this cam. Too sexy.
Don't give me a copyright
All
strike.
right, sorry. Under the Freedom of Information Act, 5 USC subsection 552, I'm requesting information or records on extraterrestrial alien involvement with the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Also, any records that include me, Social Security number, blah, it's all blanked out. I would like any records include me, mention. So this guy's looking for. So it's interesting because, let's see here. I believe it was like 3 days or 3 months or something like that after Nixon said, or not Nixon, JFK said that we'll be first to the stars.
Uh-huh.
And somehow he ended up dead like 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months. I can't remember what. It was 3 spans of time. And so this person is asking if there was any correlation between extraterrestrial and with extraterrestrial involvement and the JFK assassination. That's an interesting correlation there. They like your back scratcher.
Yeah, I saw that. I love my back scratcher.
So yeah, that's interesting. What is this? Okay, that was that one. Let's see if I can pull up another. Oh, dang it. Let me go back. Okay, I got to open an old tab. Reclosed. Open, reclosed tab. Okay, there it is. So, yeah, that was interesting. But I had forgotten about that he had been assassinated right after he made those statements.
Yeah.
Fairly
it was
soon after this.
also when he was talking about, the gold standard and,
right.
all the banking issues and stuff. So I'm thinking it's probably not that one.
Well, who knows?
That one, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I think if aliens did it, they would have just, probably phoned him in a heart attack or something like that.
Phoned in a heart attack.
Like, they got their little deal, and it just gives people like an aneurysm or something stupid like that.
Doubt.
So I don't think ETs probably have to use high-powered rifles, usually. Yeah. So no, Anubis is not my back scratcher. He's just a scratcher. Yeah, they are great. It's my back scratcher. I can't believe it's come such a point of conversation. I had an itch.
He had to scratch.
An itch I had to scratch. I scratched my itch. But I'm glad you guys are entertained by that. Watch what I do next.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned when I'm going to pick my nose.
Oh, my goodness, no.
Just kidding.
Oh, my God. Where was I? Oh, was it 4th of July? I looked over and I was like, oh, God. I watched this little girl just pull one out and just
digging
shove
for
it
gold.
Right in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, don't eat boogers. That's no good.
She ate it?
She ate it?
Ooh.
I was like, oh, don't do that. Oh, God.
Ooh, I think you lose points on that one, don't you?
I don't know.
That's terrible, man. The kids that eat those things like candy, and I don't know how that works, but yeah, that's
right
one thing I'm really glad my kids have never gotten into was eating their own boogers, but because
the kids are kids.
We would be having some come to Jesus moments if that was the case. Like, no, there's chips in the fridge.
Yeah, if you need a snack,
kitchen, we got food. That is not food.
That may have been food at one time.
Yeah.
The physics and metaphysics of unidentified flying objects. No, I'm not reading this. Oh my God!
Well done,
Where did
sir.
I get this? The principles of celestial mechanics, which govern the flight of bodies under the act of gravitation, were enumerated by Newton in 1687. No, I'm not reading this.
No, I'm already tired. One sentence in, and I'm good.
How did I find that?
I don't know. I would think.
The physics and metaphysics of flying a saucer.
Well, it's out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for something to read, and you have an IQ more than us,
more than 2.5,
more than us is all I'm going to say. Some things are really, written well above us, but and they're tough to read. You come up with those polysyllabic words, and it's like, oh no, I can't do this now. So I'm just looking for something else to read.
It's not polysyllabic. Just asking.
I don't know. It could be. It depends on which region of the country you're in.
Yeah, true enough. I'm a left coaster.
Yeah, you sure are. I'm just looking for something else here.
Well, according to this, the day before yesterday, a group of Mantanzas, Matanzas, Mantanzas residents yours truly included, had the opportunity to observe an unidentified flying object, UFOs, over that city. Shortly before 1900, I heard my 8-year-old daughter, who was on the porch, shout, "Daddy, look, fireworks." I walked out into the porch and observed the strange phenomena. The first thing I saw was a very bright white ball, followed by a lighted tail, something like a comet. Later, the lights multiplied, and I saw 6 or 7 of them lined up, each with a tail that followed north to south trajectories. These lights remained visible for approximately 30 seconds. Yesterday, I learned that a group of specialists from the territorial meteorological section of the Cuban Academy of Sciences also viewed the strange sight from various areas of the city. One of them, Jesus Gomez, saw it in a town 42 kilometers southeast of this town.
It doesn't say the name of the town.
It does, but it's Hovlanus.
Hovlanus, sure.
Hovlanus.
No, I'm just kidding. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, apparently it's in Cuba. Someone else who is a meteorologist and for years has been studying UFOs watched the phenomena in the Versailles neighborhood. I can say that, it's French.
Versailles?
Versailles.
Okay.
Versailles. Oh, God, here we go again. Showed several people a book that studying UFO in that neighborhood. Showed several people a book that has a photograph taken in 1913 from the Toronto Observatory in Canada. We all agreed that what we saw on 21st of December is almost identical to what the 60-year-old picture shows. Wow. Undoubtedly, this will be a subject of much interest to those who study the extraterrestrial universe. That's interesting.
Very.
And that was released in 2008, I believe it was.
Spaz. There's somebody in our chat called Spazman500.
Uh-oh.
Space Oddity Kayla's in here. Good to see you. New name for me, but I love seeing new names all the time.
Oh, there's a name I like.
13 Past Midnight is in here.
Hellfire?
Hellfire.
That's a new one.
There's a name I like. Hellfire.
It's usually how we go down.
That's Hellfire. Good to see you. Lots of new names tonight. Great to see you guys come in. AK Phoenix. Very cool. Dezombified's here.
Yep.
I saw him come in, or her. I'm not sure. I think it's a him. It's hard to remember. 13 Past Midnight. That's a cool name, though. Cool chat name. I like those. But great to see you guys. Thank you, all you new faces. It's always a pleasure to meet new listeners and new people that are out there. Strike that like.
Strike it like you like it.
Don, that is just, it doesn't matter what you say. It always comes sideways to me. Like my inner ear twists it into something wrong. Paranormal investigator purchases house that inspired The Conjuring.
Ooh.
Everybody seen The Conjuring movie? I haven't. I generally don't watch horror movies, which is, funny, but I don't know. I'm just saying I don't. I'm just being honest. But paranormal investigator Corey Heinzman and his wife Jennifer recently purchased the isolated farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, responsible for inspiring the popular horror movie The Conjuring. The house, known as the Old Brook Farm or Old Arnold Estate, was built in 1736. Don, 1736.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's still standing.
Well, yeah. On 200 acres of farmland owned by the Arnold family for 8 generations. A number of tragedies occurred on the property in that time, and it is the ghost associated with those events who are said to haunt the house. The Perron family bought the home in 1971 after experiencing a variety of terrifying paranormal phenomena. They were assisted by the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. These events would form the basis of the movie The Conjuring. The property was then purchased by Norma Sutcliffe in 1983, and she, along with her companion Gary Helfrich, claimed to have also experienced the unexplained during their habitation. The Heinzens closed on the property on June 21st after seeing it listed for sale online. And so they did a tweet and says, "So we did something yesterday about the little farmhouse with a crazy history to it. I think it was even made into a movie?" Question mark.
Did the sign out front say "guaranteed haunted"?
I don't know.
That's a selling point.
Yeah, well, it actually is, oddly enough, nowadays it probably is. I mean, how many people are on eBay looking for haunted dolls, for God's sakes?
Well, but think about the steal of a deal they get.
The steal of a deal.
Yeah, it's haunted. Nobody wants it. It's 24,000.
The only steal is your soul.
Your soul.
We immediately fell in love with it. Jeez. Corey said to the Sun Journal. 8.5 acres in the back in a pond, and it's so serene down there. Never mind the story behind the house. It's a beautiful home. Jennifer honestly was more excited than I was, I think. Well, that's not to say he isn't excited about the home's paranormal associations. I've always been fascinated with the Warrens, Corey said. It was just like a piece of paranormal history, this house. Yeah, but it's not good history. It's like really bad history. Corey, a former Marine, has been a paranormal investigator for about a decade, ever since an experience he had in Fredericksburg while still on active duty. His unit was performing a battlefield study at the historic site in 2002 when they heard the sounds of a phantom battle. We were seeing what we would have done differently, basically learning from past experiences, he said. And at about 2 o'clock in the morning, we heard gunfire and screaming and cannon fire, but nobody saw anything. The next morning when the tour guide came out, oh yeah, it happens quite often.
It's an everyday occurrence.
Yeah,
It's okay. Never mind. It's no worry.
We just call that Wednesday.
Call it the bloody road.
So despite owning the house for less than a month, the couple claims to have already experienced paranormal activity. We've had doors opening, footsteps, and knocks, Corey said. I've had a hard time staying there by myself. I don't have the feeling of anything evil, but it's very busy. You can tell there's a lot of things going on in that house. Previous owner Norma Sutcliffe sued Warner Brothers following The Conjuring, having said that ever since the movie came out, we've been harassed, trespassed, stalked, and besieged. Trespassers come at all times of the day. The Heinzens don't seem to be concerned about the risk of trespassers and plan on making the property open to the public. Aha.
And the plot,
thickens.
becomes obvious. They want to make money.
The plot becomes obvious. This whole journey has been both scary for many reasons other than the paranormal and exciting all at once, Jennifer said. I love that we have the opportunity to share the house with others. How much is that sharing costing? I'm just saying, it's smart. I don't blame them, I guess. So yeah, that's going to become like a Airbnb from hell.
Or like Zach Bagans' museum of you can't touch anything.
Right. They hope to have the renovations completed on the property, available to investigators and visitors later this year. So yeah, it's an investment property. So
it's actually it's a healthy business plan.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be like buying that. That'd be like buying the witch's prison over in London. You know.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be awesome though.
That's
it was only like $30,000 or $300,000, and nobody wanted to go in with me to buy it.
Yeah,
gosh, I asked. Nobody's like, yeah. They're all like, nope.
I only could have pitched in about $10.
Here's a big bag of nope.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. People are really getting into the paranormal thing, and I think that the interest is cool, but I think that the fact that it seems to be becoming the newest reality series is disturbing because, I mean, you are dealing with things you can't possibly understand. I mean, even the most seasoned investigators can't really understand everything about what's going on.
Right.
They may have experienced things before, but that doesn't mean that they can tell you that it's safe or not. It might, I mean, you could lose your soul, for God's sakes, if something's dark enough.
Devil get your soul.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. So I don't know. It's concerning that there's so many people running into the paranormal like it's the new version of hiking or something.
Yeah, exactly. Paranormal's the new.
I was going to do Pilates, but I decided to go investigate a cemetery. It's like, it's just not a good switch.
I wonder if possession's a good exercise.
Yeah. I think it probably burns some calories having to float above the bed.
No doubt. The Weird Desk US says, I think more paranormal events are happening. Okay, but why?
True.
Why do you say that? And
I agree, though.
Well, no, I agree because we talk about the ever increasing vibration of people in general, and the lifting of the veil or the piercing of the veil, however you may want to talk about that,
right?
And the higher vibration of people in general. Because there are some people that just will never vibrate any higher than a bug, but that's not the point.
Right.
But I think it's possible. But the Weird Desk, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, we got a call on the line, so let's see what's going on. This is area code 978. You are on the air.
Hello. Hi, Paranormal Portal. How are you guys doing?
We're doing wonderful.
Doing well.
How are you?
Great. This is Miss Stereo from the Zombified.
That's what I thought. I thought that was you. Yeah, how are you?
No, I'm chilling like a villain. I'm just over here trying to get in through the line. This is the first time I'm calling, actually.
I know.
Hi, 13 past midnight. We have a few friends in the chat.
Excellent.
Did you
bring them?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's great to see all these new names and stuff popping up. And someone named Gothic Rose just popped up too. So some really cool that.
Yeah, Gothic Rose. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. Our people are awesome. Our people are great. They're all horror fans, all paranormal, supernatural fans. You know, we're all like-minded here. And we were like, you know what? We're trying to get our friends over at Paranormal Portal on the show, but we never seem to be able to get the calendars aligned because I believe we're on different time zones.
Right, probably, yeah.
We're on the East Coast.
And we're on the West
time.
Coast.
What time are you guys in?
We're in the Pacific time, so we're like 3 hours behind you.
Yeah. It's a little crazy when you're in different time zones, but no, it's great to actually see you guys and talk to you for the first time. What is the subject of discussion? Because I'm like listening to two different things.
Well,
here,
yeah, exactly.
And I'm trying to figure out what are the call-ins for tonight.
Whatever's on your mind. These Wednesday shows are generally kind of an open forum, so we discuss anything and everything that comes across the table. So no necessary format. So if you've got something that you'd like to talk about, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's see. Well, I've had quite a few paranormal experiences in my life. So has my wonderful significant other who's hiding around here somewhere. I don't know where he is right now. So, but yeah, our whole life have been paranormal. So, let's see. Me, I've had a lot of sleep paralysis issues since I was a very little girl. Actually. Yeah, I have. But oddly enough, every time, it would actually, it went away during my young teen years, more or less. And then it came back after my first pregnancy. I have 4 daughters. So, for every single pregnancy, it would come back. But then would leave every time that I gave birth. So the last time, obviously, that I had an episode was when I was pregnant of my last child, my baby.
Okay.
But now she has it.
Now she's having it?
Wow.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, so it's like that pretty much with almost every female in my family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My, my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, all my female cousins, they all have sleep paralysis.
Wow. So do you think it could be some kind of familial curse or something, or what do you think is going on in there?
Generation. Yeah, I think it's a generational curse.
Okay.
But one thing is, though, that I did, my youngest did stop having them recently because we're, faith-leaning people. My parents are pastors. They're Pentecostal pastors, so we had some stuff done here in the house.
Okay.
So that stuff and prayer and anointed oil, and it went away for her. So, but she was the last one, more or less, that had it, and she hasn't had it anymore. So that's a good thing.
Now, did it only did it occur to you just during a certain? Did it occur to you just during a certain age range, or at what point did it quit for you? And then you said it started up during your pregnancies, but was it only during your younger years?
Yeah, it was during my very, very younger years when I was around. It stopped when I was a tween, actually. I was 12 or 13 when it stopped happening to me.
Wow.
And it stopped for a while until I got older and got pregnant. Then it started up again for every single pregnancy, and for every single pregnancy, it would leave.
Now you said
gave birth, it would leave.
You had only girls in your pregnancies, right? You said
Only girls. I only had 4 girls. That's it.
Wow.
No boys.
Wow.
And yeah, it was freaky because every one of my daughters has had one experience or the other. Like the oldest, she has dreams. Okay. And she dreamt about 9/11 before it happened.
Oh.
That's that.
Oh.
Then there's that's my oldest. She's 25 and married now.
Okay.
Then it's my second oldest. She's 21, and she actually she had a lot of stuff in her dreams, going on a lot in her dreams as well. Also seizures and stuff. But thank God that's under control now as well.
Good.
Let's see, my 17th night terrors as a little child. Night terrors. A lot of night terrors. And then, and then the youngest, straight out sleep paralysis. And she says she would actually see things in the room, moving around,
Right.
and things of that nature. The 17-year-old says she has had, like, things pulling the blankets off of her.
Ooh.
And she felt like something was pulling her out of her bed as well.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah, something was pulling her by the foot.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure you're glad you got that all taken care of. My God, that's got to be terrifying.
Oh, yeah, it's all gone now. Oh, yeah, it's all gone now. We had, like, service in here. Like, we had this place filled up with, like, we live in a very small apartment, by the way, so the whole church was pretty much up in the apartment. And, yeah, everything went away, thank goodness. But, yeah, that's pretty much what got us into this, into the paranormal and wanting to do the type of stuff that we do.
Right.
You know, so, yeah, and that's why I like your show so much, too, because you guys are very open-minded and accepting of everyone and treat everyone, you know, with respect and dignity, and which is something that, unfortunately, we don't get that often.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
You know, especially coming.
You're welcome to be on this show anytime you want. I'd love to hear from you. And, you know, I would love to appear on your show whenever we can figure out that when, because, you know, it's a real honor for me to be invited. And, you know, I know Don feels the same way when other people want to collaborate and cross-promote. And it's really cool to meet new people all the time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Anytime we can figure that out. How about extraterrestrial stuff? Have you experienced anything on that at all?
I have not, but Kenny has. He has seen certain things moving in the sky. And you know what is weird, too, because we come from Harlem, New York, and he's seen stuff in the sky in New York, which that's rare, but he swears by it, and I believe him. I mean, I've been with him 21 years, so I don't ever doubt anything he tells me, because he will not lie to me. So his story never changes either. So he says he's seeing stuff in the sky. So, yeah, it would be really exciting to have you guys come on and talk about UFOs. We have our resident UFO expert, our alien in our jar, Kayla. So she knows everything about UFOs.
Oh, fantastic.
So, you know, and she's kind of a little bit obsessed with it, too. So that's really cool. We call her the alien in the jar.
Nice. Well, we'd love to meet her as well. That'd be fun.
No, but definitely, guys, I'm not going to take any more of your time because this is your spotlight, your show. But please be alert to your Twitter, because that is our most prominent form of communication.
Okay.
And we will be in touch, because I am so interested in talking little green men with you guys. Yay!
Sounds wonderful. We'll be waiting for that.
Everybody get your shiny hats ready. It's going to be a blast. I promise. We're going to show you a good time.
Woo, I'm ready. We're ready. We'll be watching.
Okie dokie. Thank you, lovies. Have a great night.
Thank
Much
you.
love.
All right.
Much respect. respect
Thank
to you
you.
guys and to everybody in the chat. Love you. Bye.
We love you too. Thank you for calling in and being a part of the show.
No problem.
Okay, good night.
That's interesting, because she was talking about, she had sleep paralysis until she was in her tweens.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we always talk about, sometimes poltergeists are often during that, during those years, but usually they go on until maybe late teens instead of just.
Poltergeists are usually early teens as well.
Early teens, yeah.
Yep.
So interesting.
Prepubescent to early teens is most often the manifestation of poltergeist. And I was thinking, oddly enough, it's the same thing. And what I was thinking is that many people consider the poltergeist phenomena to be manifest around kids, having to do with mostly female prepubescent and early pubescent females. And it's usually a short-lived phenomena, and it has to do with latent PK abilities in the child and perhaps some anger or high emotional charge that seems to manifest. Now poltergeist, excuse me. I love Coca-Cola.
It's that Coke you drink.
It apparently is coming back at me. But the point I wanted to make is that as one manifestation of that latent ability, the poltergeist phenomena. But what if there were other manifestations of that latent ability, like sleep paralysis?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well.
Maybe this family line is experiencing a different manifestation of sleep paralysis as their subconscious manifestation of their gifts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're gifted. They're probably gifted on many levels, and that's just one of the earliest indicators, maybe.
Sure.
And then it wraps up maybe when they come to terms with their emotions and stuff like that. So perhaps that's part of the situation. I don't know.
Well,
now, it could be a curse or something going way back in antiquity, and who knows. But it just really occurred to me at the same time it occurred to you, I'm sure, is that, what is it with these young females when they're experiencing these really blown up psychic or paranormal occurrences? Is this just another manifestation of those latent abilities?
Right. Well, someone in the chat, it may have been Gemini, I'm not quite sure, but somebody mentioned that when you're pregnant, you're more open. Again, you've been reopened to that kind of phenomena. And also, I would imagine having girls as well was part of that, because apparently it is generational female passed down through her family.
Right.
So, being pregnant and then being pregnant with a female, it must have just, magnified it just massively. As a matter of fact, Dizam says, that's very true. We thought there might be a poltergeist issue at first. So
it could just be another manifestation of that same kind of phenomena, but it didn't manifest itself as moving objects and like a separate personality. It just manifested itself as maybe a self-attacking personality.
Oh, interesting.
So it's targeting the source rather than the environment.
You mean the host or the source?
Well, the host or the source.
Well, I guess it'd be the same thing in this case. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me now. I don't know if that's possible or not. Just a thought. But then again, my thoughts are just as valid as anybody's.
Yeah.
The paranormal's wide open. Nobody's got it all nailed down. So. Very cool, though. We love hearing from you guys, and thank you for bringing so many people with you.
Oh gosh,
to introduce them to the show. We're just really honored, and hopefully we're entertaining to all of you.
Yeah, and so with that being said, make sure that you get them to hit the like button.
Please
strike it like you like it. I like that saying.
Strike it like you like it.
That's awesome. Oh man. Weird Desk. We asked about what their thought was about why there's more ghost sightings or more, encounters. And let me go back up here because something I read that was said was, paradigms of fear and shame and control are breaking down. People are starting to think for themselves. So I agree with that because, as a matter of fact, Paisley's mentioned it a couple times on her show about how pagan traditions are reemerging because we're breaking these control barriers that have been put up through the different organized religions. So and plus these paradigms of dogma and fear, the paralyzing fear of, if I do this, this is going to happen. Well, you've got to shed that stuff. And I'm trying, because I'm like Mr. Never had an experience that I can ever really, say was an experience that I couldn't come up with some kind of rational, at least for me, explanation. So, it's breaking down those walls. Now, we talked about on Carrie's show the other day, Bigfoot Odyssey, about, being, show me the real thing, and I will be the skeptical believer. I will become, one of those people who believe that these things are possible. Now, through this show, I have experienced a few things that may very well be paranormal in nature.
Yeah, we've had a lot of weirdness on the show. There's no question about it. And I think that that's due just by the virtue of continually talking about these phenomena, that you create a magnetism of sorts.
Right.
And if there's anything in your area, it's going to go, hey, what's going on over here?
What are they talking about?
Let's swing by and see what's going on there. And then they make your mic not work, stuff like that. Well, and my mic not work tonight.
Yeah,
too.
you hit. Yeah, when we started out tonight, my mic didn't work.
Both mics were dead.
Then
tonight.
your mic was dead, and it just keeps going. Wow. I've been, and Jessica says she's asking about the haunted hand. I haven't had any haunted hand happenings. Alien hand syndrome, Doctor Strange.
Ladies and gentlemen,
haven't had any. I've been trying to recreate that so I would have it, but I haven't been successful.
Here's a guy who's a skeptical believer, but his own hand will attack him at night. He'll be waking up and like,
it was crazy. I swear.
His own hand tries to kill him, but he hasn't experienced the paranormal.
Wes, the only thing I can tell you is I'm drinking from a amber bottle.
What's Don drinking? We often wonder that, Wes.
I think we just changed it to what has Don drank, because it is now empty, unfortunately.
It's empty, and it scares the hell out of me every time.
Uh-oh, he's getting normal again.
No. He's hitting the jug again, damn it. So I don't know.
Oh, poltergeists are the spirit animal of the portal. That may be true.
It's possible. Very possible. But yeah, I mean, we don't always know how the shows are going to go, and usually we're as surprised as you guys. And it's not for lack of trying; it's just for lack of being able to predict what the hell's going to happen on every show. So, this is interesting.
Oh,
I think they caught it though, didn't they?
They caught what?
Well, they're apparently this. Yeah. Okay. This is a two-part, and this is both from the Singular Fortean, but they actually caught it. So here's the thing, and I think this is done with the best of intentions. I hope so. But authorities post warnings to stay out of Chicago's Humboldt Park Lagoon due to an alligator.
Is this the one with the knife in his head, or the one that was floating on the noodle?
No, the pool noodle. God, that was hilarious too. But no, this is apparently Chicago Police Department Chief Communications Officer Anthony Guglielmi. That's a different name. I think that must have Italian in it.
Don't Guglielmi. Go to Chicago.
Posted an advisory to Twitter on July 9th warning residents to stay out of Humboldt Park Lagoon due to the presence of a 4 or 5 foot alligator. So then it says numerous residents have spotted the gator since last Tuesday morning, but photographer Renee Horst Ruiz was likely the first to see it at the lagoon during the photo shoot that took place at around 6:30 a.m. Richard Crowley, president of the Chicago Herpetological Society, believes the animal is an American alligator possibly dumped in the lagoon by someone who had been keeping it illegally as a pet. Is it illegal to keep gators as pets?
I would imagine so. In some places it is.
Oh, okay. The society hopes to relocate the animal once it is found, and once the species is identified, then a suitable location is found for the reptile, said Crowley. Alligator Bob, a volunteer. Name's Alligator Bob.
I'm wrestling alligators down.
Wonder how long it took old Bob to come up with that name. Hi, I'm Alligator Bob. I hear you got a problem. A volunteer with the society has so far spent 2 days scouring the lagoon in his canoe. Trying to trap the animal control officers have strategically placed several baited traps around the area in an effort to remove the alligator safely. Thus far, the animal has eluded capture by both the officers and Alligator Bob. Alligator Bob, he gets like official recognition for that name. The lagoon's beach is still open and there are no closures, although authorities are advising citizens to stay out of the water. This isn't the first alligator to be found in or around Chicago. Last year, a kayaker found an abandoned alligator near Waukinagon. In 2010, Alligator Bob aided in the capture of an alligator in the north branch of the Chicago River. Another alligator was captured in the south branch of the river in 2008. In 1953, two boys from Wheeling reportedly found an alligator in the Des Plaines River as far back as 1902. An article in the Chicago Tribune claimed that 2.5-foot alligator was captured after an iron worker wrestled it out of the Chicago River.
Wow.
So they've apparently had alligators showing up there before. Weird that all the way back to 1902. I wouldn't imagine people were keeping them as pets back then, but maybe.
Well, yeah, because people have been keeping like small caimans as pets. Do you remember the TV show Miami Vice?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Of course.
You know, they had gators all over in there. People, as a matter of fact, Elvis, Don Johnson's character, Crockett, had a gator on his boat.
Oh, yeah. Don Johnson's guy. Yep. That's in Florida, though.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
in
talking
Florida.
back in 1902.
Yeah, but you know that was a question I was going to ask, and then you went on. I was going to ask that question is like, how did he get to Chicago? But you answered that question, them keeping them illegally.
Yeah.
But yeah, caimans are very commonly kept as unfortunate pets. Doesn't make sense to me.
It looks like a Florida trapper caught him, though. So then this is a follow-up to the story. As of the 17th, the alligator first spotted in July 9th in the Humboldt Park Lagoon was captured early July 16th. The 5-foot 3-inch alligator, who was identified as a male, weighed in at around 30 or 40 pounds, so it's still pretty little.
Yeah.
Chance the Snapper, nicknamed after Chicago's own Chance the Rapper, was caught by the expert trapper Frank Robb.
Not Alligator Bob?
No, Alligator Bob apparently didn't show up for work this time. Frank Robb, he's the Crocodilian Specialist Services out of St. Augustine, Florida, around 1:30 a.m. yesterday on the northwest side of the lagoon, according to officials. Robb was brought in after local volunteers failed to trap the animal, so I guess they gave up on Alligator Bob.
Alligator Bob was overrated.
Alligator Bob, you pack your bags and get the hell out of here.
Get out of town.
So they brought in Frank Robb to do the job.
Well, he's from Florida.
That was all poetry, and you missed it, dude.
No, I got it. Rob Job. Yes, I got it.
Oh, man.
Chance the Rapper.
All right, animal control officials closed the eastern half of Humboldt Park on the advice of 24-year veteran of gator hunting since, as Rob pointed out, the noise created by people in close proximity might be causing Chance to hide. So I brought my fishing rod and went down. It went down pretty fast, Rob said of the capture. After 36 hours of hunting, Rob said he saw eye shine and caught him on the fishing rod, one cast, and it was done. The alligator looked relatively docile at the news conference. They brought him for a news conference. Although Chance put up a little fight during his capture, according to Rob. Rob said that the alligator was exhausted too, I'm sure, but it was otherwise unharmed and in good health. Wherever he came from or however he got here, he's a healthy animal. Chance will remain with the Chicago Animal Control Care, pending his relocation, and no harm will come to this gator. All right, so there you go. Not only was it discovered, but it was taken care of. It's now safe.
The Snapper.
Chance the Snapper instead of Chance the Rapper.
Oh, no.
It's now safe to go swimming in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen.
In the lagoon, yes.
Just so you know.
Wow.
So, somebody actually was trying to restore Aleister Crowley's house on Loch Ness.
Boy, that's just another nightmare waiting to happen.
Well, I mean, they're going to restore it, and I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't go in that. I wouldn't go in there to restore anything.
You wouldn't?
No.
Oh.
No, I wouldn't go.
Seriously?
However, I'd go to the witch's prison.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, nobody died at Crowley's house.
That we know of.
Well, I mean, he probably did a bunch of stuff there, but as far as I know, I mean, nobody. Well, you're right. No, that we know of. I don't know what he was into. I don't know if he was a hermetic or what type of religion or spiritualism he practiced, but I think he probably had his hands in a lot of different pots. So,
Or cauldrons.
oh Jesus, here we go. This one's kind of fitting. I got my Nirvana shirt on.
Do you?
And, yeah.
Nice.
See?
Oh, Courtney Love. Oh, what's she going on
So Courtney
now?
Love says she was once visited by a ghost of Kurt Cobain.
Of course.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was bound to happen. Kurt has apparently gone back to his love. In an interview with Interview Magazine.
There you go.
Wow, they must have been searching for that title for a while. Published June 6th, the actress and musician Courtney Love admitted to once having seen the ghost of her deceased husband, Kurt Cobain. Cobain died of suicide April 5th, 1994, at the age of 27. In the interview, Love, now practicing Buddhist, spoke frankly about how the grief of losing her husband has affected her life, even after the passage of so much time. There are these stages of Buddhism: hell, hunger, and animality, and anger. All anyone wants is a proper service, proper burial, all that stuff, but it's really hard to deal with emotionally. With Kurt's estate, you have to be ruthless. I have a kid, and there are still like 12 lawyers in Washington, 12 lawyers in California, and like 6 lawyers in New York. It's insane. History is a set of facts that generally gets incredibly distorted, and the right side of history needs proper stewardship. What's going on?
Well, because I'm sitting here, there was a guy named Richard Lee who examined the suicide note and determined in total that it was not in his handwriting.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard all the controversies.
And
as
so
well.
she's talking about being on the right side of history.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't pretend to know anything about that conspiracy stuff, but it's really hard to do that. There's shock, there's turnaround, there's lament and the relinquishing, there's remembrance, there are huge swings of emotion. What is she going on about? I want to hear about Kurt's ghost. There's fake smiling, there's ugly crying, and I really felt like there were a couple of times when I'd get over it, and then it would come back a few years later. The game's not over yet, but one really pertinent thing about grief is not to let anyone tell you that it should be over. It's been 15 years. It should be over now. It's been 25 years. You should be over it by now. You get over it when you get over it, and that's probably never. When asked later if she'd ever seen a ghost, Love replied, "When I moved to Hancock Park from Seattle with Francis and Edward Norton, Love's ex-boyfriend, I saw Kurt in a chair for a moment, and he said hi to me, and then he left." Relating paranormal experiences in a very matter-of-fact manner is not uncommon among celebrities. Earlier this year, actress Lily Collins claimed to have been visited by the deceased victims of Ted Bundy while preparing for her role in the Netflix biopic Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile. And in December of 2018, actress Jennifer Aniston spoke frankly to James Corden on The Late Late Show about her experience living in a haunted house, while in April of that year, actor Martin Freeman admitted to being open to the idea of the afterlife and supernatural activities and ghosts. Well, there you have it. Kurt appeared and said hi, and I guess that's important. Not really the most profound experience, but
No.
an experience nonetheless.
He wasn't saying hi.
He wasn't?
He was saying go to hell.
So you think she might have something to do with it?
I reserve judge. I plead the fifth.
Okay. I mean, I really don't know. I've heard the claims and the allegations and stuff, but I just don't.
Well,
I don't know.
my older brother is old enough to have gone to school with him. We were born in Aberdeen, Washington. We grew up in Hoquiam, which is just divided by Myrtle Street.
Okay.
So, you cross Myrtle Street, 7-Eleven dispensary is there, and you steal soda out of there. Anyhow, but so, I'm from that area. I grew up, in Hoquiam, Aberdeen, that whole area, Copalis Crossing, all over, hump tulips everywhere.
Okay.
And of course, I grew up when I was I was 22, running wild in Pioneer Square in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So I grew up in that era.
Okay.
And, so Kurt and people like Kurt and Chris,
Cornell.
yes, thank you. And all those guys, Mia Getz, just all of them, we if we didn't at least, if we didn't shake their hand, give them a hug, we spoke to them once or twice. And it really garnered that, family of that particular era. And, so yeah, I don't necessarily believe somebody from that area of LA.
Oh, okay.
I got an issue there.
Okay.
So,
all right.
anyhow.
Well, no, that's interesting. That's all the whole story.
Yeah. So
had to say.
sitting in a rocking chair. That seems pretty apropos for, ghost stories that really don't go anywhere.
I mean, it's an experience the same. I mean, the biggest ghost stories don't have to be, it did 50 things. I mean, just an apparition appearing, I think.
Hi,
is
Daniela. How are
incredibly
you?
profound. Hi, Daniela. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in and being a part of the show. Being a part of the family, at least.
Family, yeah.
Part of the crowd.
Yes, absolutely. Glad to have her here.
We've done really well as far as people stopping in and being a part of the show.
Yeah, it's been an incredible night for chatters and
Really?
faces. Wes is even here, so yeah, absolutely.
Well, that is a profound deal. It's really cool that people come to see us turn on microphones and blab for 2 hours.
Try to turn on microphones.
Well, yeah, I mean, notwithstanding the technical issues. What?
I just remembered the bottle's empty.
Oh, you smacked your lip or something?
No, my bottle's empty.
Oh, do you need to go fill it?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I'll be fine. I will survive. We're at an hour and a half already. Wow.
Once I was afraid, I was petrified.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying. Don without his bucket of swill. I don't know if we'll make it, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll try.
Oh no. Let's see here. Do I have? Oh, you know what? I saw something. Oh. Come on. Luminous object seen over Port Gentil and Coquery Le Guinea Francais. This is from 26 June 52. Thought this was interesting. The master of a cargo ship anchored in front of the wharf at Point Gentil in Gabon, French Equatorial Africa, reported that at 0240 on June 1st, 52, a mysterious object came up from the area behind the port, made a double loop, passed over the roadstead, and then dived towards the sea at great speed. He submitted the report to the local authorities and the administrative offices of his company. The following is a summary of his story. That's actually pretty good size, but I'll get through some of it here. On June 1st, 52, at 240 hours, the ship was riding at anchor in the roadstead of Port Gentil, heading 150 degrees. The northern sky was clear and starry. The southern slightly cloudy. Visibility was excellent, and a slight southward breeze prevailed, and the seas were calm. There was a quarter moon. The first mate was at his forward post, already ready to weigh anchor, while the master was on the bridge with the officer on duty. With the exception of the mooring lights, the ship was in complete darkness, thus permitting excellent night visibility. At 0240, the first mate telephoned the master, informing him that he had just sighted an unknown luminous object in the sky, which came from Port Hill, passed directly over the ship. Training his binoculars on it, it even tells you what kind of binoculars it wears, skyward. The master was able to see quite clearly on the port quarter, and with very bright and phosphorescent orange light, circle in shape and moving at great speed and seemingly a straight line course. Standing on the wing of the bridge and with the aid of a gyrocompass repeater, the master estimated the average direction to be about 10 degrees, which means nothing to me. I'm not a nautical guy. He followed the light quite easily with his binoculars for about 3 minutes and then lost sight of it as it moved at great speed over Prince Buoy, about 7 miles from the ship. The master was unaware of any accompanying sound and admits that it was difficult to estimate the altitude of the object, yet he judged it to be 3,000 to 4,000 meters. Its diameter was that of a planet. The first mate stated that before he telephoned the master, he saw the object come from the direction of Port Gentil, stop, make a right turn, and resume its initial course. As it passed directly over the ship, it repeated the same sort of gyration. The master stated that 20 years of sea duty enabled him to affirm that what he saw was neither a known celestial phenomena, such as a falling star or a meteor, nor a current type of aircraft. Furthermore, it was confirmed that there were no planes in the air that night over the port.
Okay.
So there you go.
Interesting.
That's an interesting one that I've never heard before.
So these are some stories of these real life incidences that seem to have taken place out of the X-Files. So let's read some of these. These sound interesting to me. What do you think, Don?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Sounds like a blast.
It might be.
Alligator Bob.
You know, I'm no Alligator Bob, that's for sure. There can be only one.
There can be only one.
He's like the Highlander of alligator hunters. I just don't know. So let me preface this with my morning routine. Wake up at 4:30 a.m., out the door by 5:15. Clock in at work at 5:50 something a.m. Never fails unless major traffic incident on the highway. Anyway, one morning just this past August, I'm out the door as usual, minimal traffic, on the road. Boss calls halfway through my commute. Hey, are you coming in? I say, well, yeah, why do you ask? Boss, well, it's 6:30 a.m. and you usually call if you're going to be late. I look at my dashboard and yep, it's 6:30 a.m. Somewhere between leaving my door and getting on the road, I lost about an hour. Well, that's a lot creepy. That would just be really, really weird. Now, that's missing time, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. So it could be...
I'm thinking he was sucked up.
You think so?
I don't
They
know.
hoovered him right up onto the mothership, huh?
Yeah, they just laid him out. I don't know what's going on.
Huh.
But how do you lose an hour and not even know you've lost an hour?
Well, yeah, I mean, but, yeah, I mean, that'd be the, you could say, oh, well, it was a time slip anomaly. Well, he slipped forward in time, just that quick, on his drive to work. Who knows,
Possible, I guess, but it just seems to me that's just a missing time thing. But maybe it is. Maybe it is a time slip of some sort. Next one. So it was early evening after the sun had gone down, and I was downstairs in the living room watching the television, and my brother was up in our bedroom reading. At some point, this really uncomfortable feeling came over me, and I thought that maybe my brother needed help, and I go upstairs, and our bedroom at the time was at the end of the hallway. And as I walk down the hall, and I'm standing right outside our door, and right as I go to knock, I hear a voice say, "I have to leave now." And he opened the door and said, "I think someone was outside the window talking to me, but the only thing I heard was that they had to leave." We were both creeped out and told our mom what happened, but nothing ever came of it. For a long time, I thought I had dreamt this, but a few years ago, my brother asked me, "Hey, remember that time when we were kids and someone was talking to me through the bedroom window? Remember how he left right before you came in the room? What the hell was that?" Because he remembered it exactly the way I do, I'm convinced this really happened.
It's kind of like me, the
weird.
spirit repeller.
That is weird, though. Could you imagine that he was being hypnotized or something?
Oh, yeah.
Nosferatu, perhaps, huh?
Ooh.
Perhaps he was being groomed by some sort of vampire.
That's kind of
It's creepy, huh?
that's a really creepy thought.
That's a creepy thought. I mean, what if somebody was... I mean, it's on a second-story window, first of all. So something was floating up there, talking to him through the window, and then says, "I have to go now."
I must go now.
Next thing you know, the brother's like, hey, I lost an hour. All I remember someone was talking to me. Late to the party, but I'll share anyways. One day, I'm over at a friend's house, and we go into the kitchen to do something. Both him and I are moving around the kitchen, and all of a sudden we hear a pop. And then there's a small spot of orange gooey stuff on my friend's shirt. To this day, we have no idea what it was. Looked around the entire kitchen and didn't find anything that looked similar to the goo. We just chalked it up to an no, I can't read this. Interdimensional being spitting on my shirt. My friend. I'm going to say spitting because I can't read that. That's terrible. It has to do with goo and it's not spit. But anyway, I'll leave it there.
You moved so fast that I couldn't read it.
Oh, it's fast enough, believe me. So another one, my wife was calling my name. Nothing unusual about that, except that I did not hear it with my ears. As I was listening to Led Zeppelin's In My Time of Dying on the stereo, and it was cranked up. I heard it in my mind, and I walked to the bathroom as I knew my wife was taking a bath and found her face down in the water. She was unconscious, having a severe epileptic seizure. Fortunately, I found her in time.
Wow.
Boom, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Very cool story. It kind of reminds me of my mom, actually. My mom, I've told this story on the show a long time ago, but I'll tell it again. I was a kid of the 70s, and it was there wasn't so many hyper vigilance in those days. I was the third child, so it wasn't my mom's first rodeo, and she said that I love to be out in the garage. So she put my playpen out in the garage, and I'm just a little guy, like under a year old, and she put some toys in the crib with me. And she was just inside the house around the corner on her sewing machine. Every once in a while she'd come out and check on me and stuff, but I was just happily playing with my toys in this playpen. And she said she was sewing, and all of a sudden she got this really terrified feeling she had to get to me right now. So she said she stopped sewing. She runs out around the corner, runs into the garage, and there I am on the floor of the playpen, blue, because I can't breathe. And she looks into my mouth, and I had almost completely swallowed a Hot Wheel car, but it was blocking my airway and everything. So she said she was able to dig it out and yanked it out, and I was bleeding from my throat because it raked up my throat. But I'm alive. So she just had that overwhelming urge that she needed to get to me, like right now. And it was good thing she did, because there wouldn't be a Paranormal Portal right now if she hadn't. You guys might be doing something way more productive with your time. Just saying. But that's true. Moms just have those intuition. You're right, Weird Desk. Very true. But true story. This one is not as spooky as some other things I've read, but I was sitting at my computer with my door kind of cracked open, enough to where I can see out, and my door is right next to my desk. So I can see out, and I see like 5 men in suits walk up the stairs and start walking into my room. I should be freaking out, but I can't seem to move my head. And then they reach my room and kick the door open all the way. And then suddenly I can move my head again, and all the men are gone, but my door is wide open. Still freaky to think about sometimes. Yeah, that's like Agent Smith's coming in or something,
no
right?
doubt. Wow.
What are you? What's your name? Smith. Mr. Anderson. Creepy.
Wow.
Nothing too crazy, but definitely creeped me out and my wife and I out. We have a Wii, and the sensor bar is on the TV stand directly in front of the TV, as is anyone's. And we don't have a cord wrapped up or anything. It just hangs behind the TV in a jumble. And one night we're watching TV and cuddling on the couch when suddenly the Wii sensor bar literally flies across the room till it got to the end of its length and fell to the floor. Like someone grabbed it and chucked it across the room. We couldn't find any explanation for this whatsoever. We have a cat and a dog at the time, but the cat was sleeping in another room and the dog was on the couch with us. We did have several birthday cards on top of the TV on display, and one of them was on the ground, so the only thing we could think was that somehow we missed the card falling and it hit the cord, and voila. I tried for 10 minutes to throw that card as hard as I could on that cord, but it didn't even move the bar from its place on the TV stand. Eventually, we just chalked it up to WTF and moved on. But it was definitely weird. Yeah, normally your Wii sensor bars aren't supposed to launch across the room.
Well, they're one of those. They're like the Kinetic. Is it Kinetic? Sony Kinects. Sony Kinects. They're one of those motion sensing.
Yeah, I got one right on the TV.
Yeah, and so it's.
I got old school Wii.
I wonder if it would be possible for an apparition of some type to manifest enough to throw it across the room because they don't want to be caught on that particular camera. The motion.
I don't know. I couldn't know. Could only guess. I mean, I suppose
because there's hacks to set up a Kinect camera to a computer and use in ghost hunting.
Right.
So,
right. Yep. Exactly. So here's another one. My cousin and I both remember a room that apparently doesn't exist. When we were both around 10 years old, my cousin was having family problems, and my mom invited her to stay with us a while it got sorted, and it was pretty fun, kind of like having a temporary sister. We ended up talking about it a few years ago, reminiscing about the weird things we would do together and some of the memories that stood out the most. Among them, the night we stayed up laughing at my golden retriever, who kept trying to steal my pillow off the bottom bunk when we were trying to get to sleep. Only problem was, we didn't have a dog.
Oh,
and I never had a bunk bed.
wow.
For whatever reason, I'd never considered how little sense the memory made. Thinking maybe she was just going along with the story, I asked her what color the bed frame was. She thought about it for a second and then answered red. And she was right. According to my mom, we never stayed over at anyone's house, and even if we had, I still remember what friend's house looked like. None of them had red bunk beds, and I still have no idea what happened. Ooh, false memories, Don. Isn't that like a UFO thing?
It's also like a Mandela thing, too, though.
Well, I don't know if they're false. The Mandela effect is having a different memory. But, I mean, like, false memories, isn't that indicative of something else, though? Not just Mandela, but I'm talking about, like, some psyops or something like that.
Oh, you're going that way with it. Yeah, there's a lot of, and it falls into the Montauk Project kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, it's and who's to say that stopped in the 80s like it was supposed to?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Probably
not. I had something similar as a child at daycare. I was getting to the end of the day, and only a few of us kids were left. So they all had us all move towards a room in the front, and we're walking down the hall in a single file and turn a corner, and suddenly everyone's disappeared, and it's gotten darker outside. I freak out and run around looking for someone and eventually find them. The only remaining thing I recall is them telling me my mother said she'd be late, and they never acted as if I was gone. But why did I have to go find someone if I'm at daycare? Shouldn't someone have been with me already? I don't know that. I don't really understand that at all. Weird. That's a weird one. I don't know what to think of that one. This one's a little longer. How are we doing? We've got about 15 minutes. Okay. I can get through this one, and then I see that we got to get to that too. All right, let me read one more. When I was 19 and my best friend was 20, we're nearly 40 years old now. We were driving back to my house after visiting someone at work, and we were on a somewhat busy road. It was getting dark, but wasn't quite dark yet. And there were street lights and business lights everywhere, so visibility was still great. This road was 3 lanes in each direction, and there was a concrete median dividing the traffic. I was in the left lane next to the median, and the traffic light was coming up, and I saw a man standing on the median a good way before where the crosswalk for the light would be, and it instantly made me nervous. And as soon as I thought that, he stepped out to cross the street. My best friend and I both instantly braced for an impact, and I slammed on the brakes, and we went right through him. We didn't hit him because there was a car to my right, and I wasn't able to swerve out of my lane to avoid hitting the man. I looked in my rear view, and there wasn't anyone there. I had come to a complete stop, and we physically turned around in our seats to see how we had jumped out of the way, and there was no one there. And no way he could have ran off or hidden anywhere that fast. We both turned to each other and almost in sync asked the other one, "Did you see that man?" We both saw the same thing. A man couldn't describe his face, but it was a man's form, and both of us remember being confused as to why he was wearing a white robe, and both being terrified that he stepped out in front of us, like he was committing suicide. I had a baby in the back seat, and she was about 3 months old. She had been crying during the drive and went silent when we came up to a screeching halt, which added to the weirdness of it all. We still bring it up occasionally, and neither of us can come up with any explanation for what we saw other than something supernatural. Also, we both saw the white cloth fling across the windshield like he was hitting it, but there was no impact or nothing. It was like he went through the car.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, weird. The Weird Desk US says ghostly crust walkers.
Right, exactly.
That was kind of awesome.
Yeah. All right, so I see we got a call, and this is Miss Diane.
Oh.
Hello, Miss Diane. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Kind of a fun show. We finally found out the true Dizom, the voice of Dizom, and the crew of Dizom came in too.
Yeah, that was really
So
cool.
that was pretty cool. Oh, Q&A. Crowley was thelemic. That was what he was considered. I knew somebody who was a big follower of Crowley. He was thelemic. And actually, the character of what was his name called? Uncle Fester on.
on the
Yes,
Addams Family?
on the Addams Family was supposedly patterned kind of after him. Go figure that one out.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
and he is supposedly the one. And the reason that I had a dream one time. This is weird. I had a dream one time that I didn't realize until the next day, but where I was supposed to be, I was going to meet somebody who was going to be my teacher named Mr. Crowley. And I didn't want to do it. For some reason, I was very nervous about it, and I didn't want to do it. But I did meet him, and I met some other person that was there, too. But it was like, no, but I really don't want to be your don't really. I said no. Well, there are people that freaked out when they heard. It was like, you just said no to Crowley, being a Crowley student. It's like, yeah, I didn't want to be. He put me off somehow. I just didn't. The vibe was wrong. So I've actually gotten bawled out for denying Dream Crowley my studenthood, but well, he just freaked me out, I didn't like his vibe. Anyway, anyway, that's how I know something about. And he's the one, supposedly, he may be the one that we can thank for, if you want to call it thankfulness. He did the ceremony to bring in an entity called Lam, L-A-M, and Lam looks a lot, from a drawing, looks a lot like the Greys. That may have been the person who ripped the portal open to let the Greys in, and which I would hold against him myself, really.
Okay.
That would be why I would maybe not want to have anything to do. I mean, I know some people that love him, think he's a genius. I don't want anything to do with him myself for that particular reason, because I think that the Greys are very much like what people consider to be demons.
Okay.
So, a lot of the stories people have about them, they act quite a bit like demons. And I know we do have some criminal aliens or interdimensionals or whatever you want to call them, but they're not humans.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's my information about Crowley.
Gotcha.
And there were some things said about him too. One was, those who remember me as Holy shall call me Crowley. Those who remember me as Fowley shall call me Crowley. But I had a third one, and I don't know that anybody knows this one, but it came right up when somebody said that. I said, and those that remember his folly shall call him Crawley. Because he was creepy.
Sure. Yeah. Well, he was certainly a very controversial figure at the very least.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some people say he was the beast. I think he identified himself as the beast, as I recall. But,
I think he's creepy. But anyway. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention was sometimes and you asked, could it be some kind of thing like a poltergeist, like these night? I had night terrors and stuff.
Well, the sleep paralysis. I was referring to sleep paralysis. But go ahead.
And sleep paralysis. I had those at odd times in my life too.
Okay.
I you know what? It's another subject. I probably shouldn't go. Sean had his talk with me.
Oh.
It's like, don't come in with a truckload anymore.
Well, I didn't ask Sean to have that talk with you, but okay. All right.
Okay. Because it's like don't come in with a truckload anymore. Okay,
you do
I'll
have
try and keep it.
You have a tendency to come in with a truckload of information and leave us all in the dust. But and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just we got to keep the phone calls to the manageable speed, not head into hyperspace.
And that thing that you were talking about earlier, the one that you said, nope, I read the first sentence and, out. And it's like I probably could have read that and pronounced everything. But
okay, thanks.
I'm like, darn, I'm a geek. I'm such a freaking geek sometimes. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, it doesn't make you the most popular girl in school,
Well,
that's why I had to get so weird, is because that was the only way to be popular with if you're geeky.
Oh, well, you're wonderful. We love you dearly. There's no problem with that.
Oh, well, thank you. I love you guys too. I love your show, and I love the crew here. And it's the only thing I always watch every time I come in. It's there's a couple other shows I go onto the stream sometime, but this is the only one I really make an effort to come in on, because I would so miss you guys if something happens. So if I ever disappear, but I think I am maybe going to change my T. Swiger handle. I was talking this over with Sean too, because there are just so many D's in here now, and Dianes. How did we grow so many Dianes?
I don't know.
We got guys all over the place, man.
Right. There's a lot of you. You guys are taking over.
I know, the D names, and love you all D names. I should just come in and say all D's and honorary D names. Hi. Yeah.
There you go.
Hello.
Absolutely.
I get it all over with at once. That includes D-Zom and everybody else, with a D name. Duck Sauce and... Oh, and another Diane. Hi, another Diane came in, Diane Fowler.
Whoa.
And so here we are with more Dianes. Hey there.
How'd that just happen?
Anyway, and Don, and of course, Mr. Don.
Well, yeah, the big D.
Mr. Don. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
The first D.
Oh, let's just leave that lay, shall we? Let's move along, please.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you're right.
No, Don.
Hey, telling you, I was having some phenomena. Phenomena.
Oh, phenomena, yeah.
I'll just make it brief. I think I would probably attribute it. It might have been. We might have had some weird stuff happening around here. Fortunately, not in my place too much.
Okay.
But out there in the courtyard and stuff, we had some weird stuff. I think I'm going to maybe attribute it to Grace, because a couple of times I was woken up by this horrendous garbage smell, which is what the no good ones smell like. They smell like garbage, I am told, because they excrete through their skin. Ew.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I was woken up a couple times with that, and I just told him, "You're not allowed here. Get out.
Right.
Get out and get away from me. Don't even think about it." Which just goes to show you how freaking blasé I've gotten about some of these things.
Right.
I am half awake, and I go, "Get out of here, you! You're not allowed in here. Get out."
Sure. Right.
So I'm sitting here. I'm going, well, why would they be active again? I haven't had any experiences with them in a while. Just wondering if anybody else has had anything come up, of that nature, any abduction type stuff or anything. If they're getting active again, I'd kind of like to know so I could be prepared.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll definitely put it out there to our listeners. If that's happening, please let us know so we can let Dee know.
Yeah, please let us know so that I can get prepared and start getting with the butt kicking again.
Well,
because really, if they're bothering you, they should not be bothering you.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Bigfoot smell. I really don't know, though, that if Bigfoot came in, yeah, I heard about that, too. I thought, well, Bigfoot supposedly smells, too. But the thing is, if a Bigfoot was in this far into town, wow. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Sure.
because I'm in Kent, Ohio, and there is countryside.
Sure.
But
Miss D, we're gonna have to wrap this up really soon because we're almost at the.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay. Well, that's it.
All right,
That's it. See you next time on the prices. Or no, I don't want to get you a copyright.
Yeah, please don't.
Problem.
Right.
Okay. See you next time on the portal.
All right. Good night, my lady. Thanks for calling in.
Good night, D. Wow, been a great night so far.
My browsers have been crashing repeatedly here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Huh.
So I think I want to wrap it up before the whole thing collapses.
Before the whole thing just falls down.
I mean, I got these warnings coming up. Oh, this is unresponsive. This is unresponsive. So something's going sideways here on the portal, ladies and gentlemen. But
it's time anyhow.
I think it's time anyhow.
Yeah.
But anything in closing, Don?
Check out the podcast.
Yes, podcasts always Monday, Wednesday, Friday, releasing 3 times a week. Always great and wonderful episodes waiting for your enjoyment. So if you haven't already checked them out, please do. Look for Paranormal Portal on wherever you find podcasts. But special thanks to Revolver Podcasts for making that possible. So, but that's going to wrap it up for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We love you guys. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll be back tomorrow night with more of the bedtime stories. So 7 p.m. Pacific time, 7 days a week, right here on YouTube. There's another portal coming right up for you. So hopefully you guys will tune in and keep me company. But good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Be good, and I'll be back.
Good night.